folks, thank you so much for attending the Go for Diamond call this evening. And I'm just leaving the screen up because I have a few things I want to share with you. Just want to get to my notes here. Um, so tonight's training is Up Your Game. It's actually an important call, as much as folks may think it's, oh, we heard it all, we heard it all. Actually, it's a really, really important part of the steps for you to go through to really get to the success that you desire. And sometimes it's good to even hear some things again and again and again. And Tammy and I are going to cover with some of the basic elements that are very, very important to have success in building your business when it comes to personal growth and to up your game. Now, what I'd like to start with this evening is to make sure that everybody is aware that I've asked Marcel. Marcel is our virtual assistant, for those of you that may not know of her, to work on the website to simplify the access to the GoPro tickets. So there's really two places you can access. If you go to this team website, it's if you click on shop here or virtual GoPro ticket, it'll take you to the same spot. Now, if you happen to be living outside of Canada, I really do recommend, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, you can simply get your tickets here. The reason for the $5 is because of the service fees, because I have to send the money to Eric Worre once you've registered. And through the registration process, it's simply going to be asking you to provide, obviously, your email, your phone number, and the credit card information, which you're the only one who will see that, the name on a card, and obviously what country and everything else. By default, based on your IP address, you'll pick that up. And when you pay it, then I will have the information to pass on to Eric Worre, and then you'll be registered as soon as I submit this ticket. So wanted to mention that. The other thing that's also very important to keep in mind before we begin, if you happen to be Canadian, it's 130. As you know, the exchange rate, actually, the Canadian dollar went up a little bit this morning. At one point, it was flirting with 139 to 138. Now we're down to 137 or 136, whatever it is. But we're rounding it off to $130 Canadian. Okay. So then you can simply e-transfer me, activeteam@me.com. Just e-transfer the amount. And I do need your name. I do need your phone number and your email. You can simply, message me or whatever, and I'll get that information. And that way you'll be registered if you happen to be a Canadian citizen. If you're anywhere outside of Canada, use the form that's displayed here on the screen. That way you'll have your ticket. Everything is going to be registered. It's done online. It is $100 US. And the $5 is, again, for the service fees involved. Now, the other thing
quickly, Chris, before you go further on this, always think of the brand new associates. Number one is to create the vision and the excitement, because after a weekend like this, you're whether it's a brand new associate, even a hot prospect, by the time they're done with this, they're going to be on fire. And Chris is obviously registering the tickets, and everything's Max International. Now we're going to try and get our own room, hopefully through all of us worldwide. Max, we can get a single room for Max Associates. So that's what the plan is. Imagine, your brand new associates, a hot prospect, somebody who could really benefit from this and leverage from a lot of the skills that people learn from GoPro, and can even apply it to their own traditional business, or if they're career people that want to up their game, because he also has special guests that are outside of network marketing, as you all know. And
here's another thing.
People can learn a ton. So leverage that too, because the moment through the process, you can communicate back and forth. And after it's done, who knows, they may be so excited, they're going to engage if they're new, or if they're a hot prospect, they're going to say, sign me up, I'm in, I got to do this.
Yeah.
Can't believe I didn't see this
one
before,
thing, one thing that I did, Tammy, and I know that Tammy's working on that too, is I started calling all my personals from the past 15 years since I've been with Max International. And one of the gentlemen, his name is David Adams, he's not here this evening, who decided to reactivate his ownership as a sport pack, which is, the ATP, the Infuse, and the Celgivity. and he's very, very excited to get started. And what a better way than actually get them on the right track by attending a GoPro event. So don't underestimate, folks, what these events do for people. It stimulates. I know I had an associate in Nigeria that was so tired, discouraged, and after the event back in 2020, I think, or 2021, I forgot which year, he was so ecstatic and motivated, and he's still really active building because of that one event, which has led to other events. So folks, these are important. This is the reason. And also keep in mind, the tickets are $200 US right now. So this here is a special deal because I have access to these tickets. Now they're starting to go away, so don't wait too long. And after at the end of the month, that's it. I mean, I don't have access to these tickets anymore. Okay. So I have basically till the end of the month to access this. I don't recommend you wait till the last minute, but I would recommend to call your downline, call your associates, call your first, the people that you've sponsored to you, as Demi stated. I'm telling you, do not underestimate the power of what these events do. For $100 US, that is a steal. Even $200 for this. Eric always over delivers. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a really, really good event. So highly, 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 highly recommend. The other thing that Tammy and I are deciding to do, get rid of these accounts here. We want to share this with those of you that are available to join us at our home. This weekend, Eric is doing an event on creating automated systems on social media. What better tools, especially in our time and age today, to be able to build your business? So if you are in the area, you want to join us, just let us know. It's going to be a potluck, so everybody kind of pitch in, bring something, so we know I'll start cooking for everybody. And the event goes on for, let me just check here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Eastern time. So it's from 12 to 4 Eastern. So it is a 4-hour event. Okay. I know, Sylvie, you have your account, and I know Lucy has her own too, and a few others. So I mean, this is going to be a really, really big deal. And unfortunately, even Tammy had a big weekend plan with the family, and we had to cancel that. And these are sacrifices that we need to do, and the kids always kind of pay the price, unfortunately. But it's unfortunately what the price to pay sometime to be in business. So the fact here, folks, is yes, it's 4 hours, but it's going to be 4 hours of productive time. And no, we cannot share this on Zoom or anything like that. This is a private event, and we're just opening up to the folks that are willing to join us at our home. And so you can take advantage of this live. So it'll be an absolute phenomenal event. The other thing I wanted to mention is obviously tonight is Up Your Game. And it has a lot to do with personal development. And I want you to be aware that there is a lot of information available to you, even some of the things that are free. So for example, if you go to the Active Team site and you go under training, it'll take you to this site here and go under personal development. Okay. And from there, then it'll take you to a lot of things that just John C. Maxwell, which has some great, wonderful content over here that you can listen to for free. There's also other books with Simon Sinek, How Great Leaders Inspires and so forth. These are the kind of information that are so fruitful and educational to help you grow and evolve. And this is something that's really, really important. Another thing are books. This, obviously there's the Chris and Tammy here for, this is a good story, guys. This is the real deal. I mean, you're talking to people who have made millions with this company, who has purchased with the income generated by this company. We're not fake. We even wrote a book about it. So the story is over here. And the fact is that you have some great personal, The Alchemist, phenomenal book. Anybody here has read this book? Just raise your hand if you've read this book.
Yeah, it's so good.
Nobody read. Oh,
there's so
Mr.
many
Bennett,
nuggets in there. Oh my God.
You have to read this book. This is, the analogy is phenomenal in this book. The magic of thinking big, how to win friends and influence people. Dale Carnegie. This is amazing. I read this back in 2006 when I was traveling to Mexico in those days. Right. Oops, excuse me. I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, so again, start with why. And these are things, folks, you don't want to nickel and dime these things. It's not expensive. You can go on Amazon, you can click. I think these are all links that you can go right to Amazon. Let's just try The Power of Now. Yeah, okay. And you can just access this book. I mean, at the end of the day, it's important that you invest in yourself. And I think this is one of the major challenges that Tammy and I recognize in mentoring and training people in this industry is people don't spend 2 minutes and developing themselves. And developing yourself is a critical part of your life, which will also impact the way you talk and the way you might inspire someone or even trigger someone's interests. There's a lot of information. The most recent book that we picked up is, we should add over here, is go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah, The Power of One More. Yeah, we got to add that one.
Ed Marlett, yeah.
There's so much in there, so much nuggets. Yeah, for people to learn from, all of us. And you know, what's really important, and I always say that to everybody, is you can take a course, you can read a book, you can listen to an audiobook and get something from it. But if you don't apply it into your life, it's going to be forgotten, because we all have lots of things that are going on in our lives today, every single one of us. So one of the habits that I've always created for myself personally is when I learn something, I'd rather take a longer period of time to learn something from a book, but take a segment and apply that. And you'll see, you'll grow in such a big way by doing that. Because over the years, I mean, imagine all the notes that every single one of us has collected, the files that you might have or the books you have written about all the courses you've been doing, but it's in those books. It hasn't been applied in the real life. And the best learning you're ever going to get is the real life learning. It's connecting with people and learning from those connections. And yeah, I say learn, of course, learn, take this information, learn from it, and apply it. And you'll see that everything will go to another level. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very important what Tammy is sharing over here, guys. Very important is, if you're like me, for me, reading a book, honestly, it's like pulling teeth. I'm not kidding. And one of the things that I did to overcome my laziness when it comes to read a book is audiobooks. You still get the information. You really do. And if you happen to be someone who does, for example, the laundry for hours, or you're going for walks for hours, or you're training for maybe half an hour to an hour, or you're commuting on the car on a regular basis, right? We used to talk about CDs. I mean, just Bluetooth your device to your car and download these audiobooks and listen to them while you commute. And I'm telling you, it's amazing how many books that I have access to in my mind that is part of my daily activities, daily decisions, and the things that I do, and how my decisions are impacted today on how we choose to run our lives. We've evolved so much through this industry of network marketing. People have no idea. Sometimes people get discouraged because they don't get the money they're looking for, not realizing, first of all, if they would have compounded that money that they've earned over the years with network marketing and invest it instead of just spending it on silly things, you'd be amazed how much money you'd have in the bank right now. But over and above that is through the process. We'll come back to that in some of the 5 big mistakes people do in network marketing. But in the process of talking to people, you evolve. And when you read information on a book that may inspire you or trigger something within you, and suddenly it is utilized in your conversation, and then you're impacting someone else with this. And this is what personal growth does. And over time, first you read it, you learned it, and then it becomes you, and then you're translating it to someone else. And this is how you grow into leadership, and this is how you get a following. See, sometimes, we tend to look at the results that we have, and we're not happy with those results, and we tend to judge ourselves and even discourage based on those results. But what you overlook is the mileage, the distance that you've covered from the day you started to where you are now. The person you are is different. It has evolved. You'll never go back again because you can't unlearn something that you've learned. It's always going to be there. So that is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend. If I give you a call to action, go through the books that are listed on the site that I shared with you a moment ago. You can always go back and replay this video to see the area where it was located, and buy it. Buy it. And if you're not a reader, then be a listener. The fact is, you need that information to evolve and grow. This weekend, this is new stuff that will be fresh off the press. That's going to be the most current stuff based on today's environment on how we do business through social media and so forth. So this is, I highly recommend. And if you can't make it, don't beat yourself up. I understand we do live in Toronto. It may not be convenient, but for some of you, it might. And you may just not feel like it because you want to watch your series this weekend. Sometimes folks, you have to, I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. And I'm telling you, the price of being uncomfortable is insignificant compared to what you will earn in return for the rest of your life. And I'm not just talking about the financial aspect of things. It's everything that follows that personal growth that will occur and the people you will impact in the process.
Mhm.
Anything
Yeah.
else to add to this, Tammy?
Who you become in the process. Absolutely. Yeah. You'll make a lot of impact for others, but it's the big thing is who you become in the process of the whole journey, and really enjoy the journey. I think a lot of people, they stress themselves out and they're not enjoying the journey of the personal development, which is what you're going to get, especially when you're new and growing and trying to figure this out and having those fears and the inactivity because of those fears. But once you start doing it, you'll realize all the things that we create in our minds, it really doesn't happen. And people get so caught up in a lot of that. So yeah, the key is just go do it and just have a learning experience on everything that you're doing and connecting with people. And if you make it about others and you're solving problems that are going on in their environment, in their life, then they'd be open to connect with you. And it should be a natural, normal conversation with passion. Of course, when you're passionate about something, people will move towards you. If they don't feel that passion, you got that monotone and that worry if you're saying things right, people can read it all, right? So just be passionate about connecting with people, and you'll find that the results that you're going to get in return is unbelievable. And let's say the worst thing that's going to come out of the whole thing is you have a new friend. You have a new friend. They could bring some value to you. You can bring some value to them. And then when the time comes that they are stuck, or they have something, they went to the doctors and something happened, and who's the first people they're going to think of? The people who added value in their lives. That's who they're going to think of. Those are the ones that they're going to give a call to. So if you go out there with that mindset and that posture of excitement and passionate about what you do and the impact that you make, Chris and I are so passionate out there that people want to know what we're doing. They really want to know. And we don't throw them all the candy. We just give them a little teaser, and then we pull it away, and then they want to connect and they want to find out what we're doing. So you just got to learn that, but you learn it when you're out there practicing. We didn't know all of this stuff at all. We were like everybody else, had no idea. We were turned down. I know I was turned down by every single person on my list when I started network marketing. I was an idiot out there, just ignorance on fire. And everybody said no. And they were all laughing at me. These are my friends. And guess what? They're all seeing our life today. And they're seeing also, that they weren't open to look at it. And, I'm sure in their head saying, gosh, I would have seen it back then. But, it doesn't even matter, because you know what? Seriously, we haven't even developed North America. We haven't even developed our own backyard. We've got a huge opportunity. So when you look at timing couldn't be better than right now, because everybody is looking. Everybody has a problem that they need solved. Everybody. So whoever's out there doing the work of helping and connecting and solving problems and bringing value to people, they're the ones that are going to start getting into momentum with Max.
Absolutely, Tammy. And I just wanted to recognize that we on Facebook Live. We have David, not sure, David, where you're from, and Luz from Puerto Rico, Agnes from the Philippines, and others that are coming in. So folks, thank you for joining in. I really appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, feedback, or comment, please do leave it in the comment section, and we'll address them as we move forward. Same thing here. If you happen to be in our Zoom session, do the same. Just post your comment, feedback, if there's anything you'd like to share. Now, here are the 5 mistakes that people do in network marketing. And starting with number 1 is often what happens is people, they think that the money's in a list that they bill. And yes, I mean, it is correct. I mean, don't discredit the fact that you do need to build a list. That is your foundation, right? That's your inventory. But the fact is, often people think that their list is the income, but what you need to understand is as you build your list, the money is created through the skills that you acquire when you communicate with them. I'm telling you, see, people think, oh, this person's not interested, that person's not interested, and that person shut this door on my face, and I spoke to my friends and family, and nobody's interested. And what you need to understand is at the beginning, you're green, you're shy, you're uncomfortable, the posture is not there. And as you start evolving in your personal growth, even by communicating with people, the evolvement begins, because that you want it or not, your mind is learning through the process of communicating with someone else and looking at their responses, and their response and the way you handle that response will evolve as you keep making these calls. But if you don't call people, you don't reach people, well, these skills don't evolve because you're not applying them. So understanding that your list is your foundation, but it's the process of going through your list where you're developing your skills. And as you're developing your skills, that's when the money is made. Because as you evolve, you will start converting people to become a customer, in turn to become an associate, or they can become an associate right away, get on the product, and start talking to other prospects. So this is something that's important when you're looking at this particular aspect. And it's not just making the list. It's not making a list that makes the money. It's the skills that you acquire while doing so. Go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah, and you also need to approach your family and friends. A lot of people want to avoid their social environment in network marketing, but connect with them. They all know you, number one, and it's easier when you're new to connect with family and friends and just have normal conversations when you're out and about going for a walk or you're at a family event, just some normal conversations. You don't want to start talking network marketing talk and that alien talk where they're like, whoa, okay. Just be connectable. You're already doing it with your family anyway. So in the common connection process, you may get a customer. Maybe one of your family members just came from the doctor and they're having some challenges. Maybe one of them just found out that they were downsized and they know what you're doing, but they're not comfortable to approach you. And you happen to connect with them and just say, hey, we could do some great things together. Why don't you just come check out one of the evening presentations and just see for yourself? And if it's not something for you, that's fine too. I want you to be happy. And just those normal connections, conversations with people, you want to make people feel good about themselves. You want to make people feel good. And going into the, into strangers market, which is social media and, people we don't know, it's okay. I mean, it's great. And we do it all the time. I burned my family at the beginning, but guess what? And I was sure that none of them were gonna start, because I was new and ignorance on fire, and just being something that I wasn't supposed to be.
Hey, I still have my
But long
mom, my
story
dad, and my
short,
brother on the product.
yeah, but you know what? I've got both of my sisters on as associates now, and it took a long time, but they watched you guys. They're watching, they're seeing what's happening. Eventually they had some health challenges. Eventually they got on the product. Now they're in the system. So you always need to connect with everybody around you and think about not about yourself and how you're connecting with people, but think about the people in front of you. That makes everything so easy when it comes to connecting with people on your list. Is find how you can serve them in some way in a conversation. Find it in the conversation, it'll come to you. Don't think about what you're going to say. Just have a normal conversation with them. It naturally comes out in normal conversations. I think people try too hard. And
That
then
is
they
an
wonder why the
understatement.
door didn't get slammed on their face. I know the door was slammed on my face many times because I was being something that I wasn't. But I had to learn in the process. And the best learning I ever got, and yeah, I learned from the books, but the best learning I've ever got is to go out there and do it.
Yeah, for me, it was actually third-party credibility. I'll never forget that this is one of the things that I've learned the most, but we'll come back to that a little later. So one of the things that's important here is really focus on the relationship, and we'll come back to that. One of the second mistake that people do, and by the way, hi, Barry, how are you? Ruth from the Philippines. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Carmen from the Philippines. Nice to see you guys. One thing that's important here is focus on the relationship. No, okay, I was number two. I got distracted with my Facebook friends. One thing is do not spam, right? And I know some of you don't do that, but I know that some cases, some of you may be doing that. And you want to stop spamming. What I mean by spamming is going in other people's group and posting your events, and you got to be careful with that, right? You want to be respectful, especially if it's not a group that you own or you've created with. But often you may provide a wonderful product and people might be grateful. So just be careful to, if you're talking to prospects, not overwhelming them. There's associates, I don't want to mention names, but when they have a prospect, they will literally spit out, I want to say the word vomit because it's pretty graphic, but a library of links and documents. And I mean, I know if I get that, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm just overwhelmed already in my life. I don't want to read, a whole library of stuff. I'm not interested to learn the science and becoming a doctor to even consider it. And this is often one of the problem. You overload your prospect with information. It's too much. Some of you are super well educated and you think that the whole world wants to be that way. No, it's not the case. What you want to do is you want to drip information. So very important that, yes, it is a numbers game, but your results will significantly increase if you play the game right. How do you play the game right? I suggest that you go to the activeteamtraining.com domain, which points to our Active Team Training YouTube channel, and search for the Success Cycle series. Okay. And start listening to the trainings that we've done. And some are older than others, because remember, some of those files are several years old, but you can look at the dates, right? And the time and dates where this video was actually recorded to make sure you're not like 5 years behind. But because there are some videos that are there quite old, quite a long time ago, but the process is there. And I know you've heard us say this often, is the process of prospecting and inviting. And then from the inviting process is the following up process. The follow-up is absolutely critical. We'll come back to that. But very important is focus on, Tammy said earlier, on building the relationship. And as you build a relationship, then when after that, it becomes friends. Some of my best friends came from the industry of network marketing, where once upon a time, they were complete strangers to me and me to them. And then we became like family.
Mhm.
So what happens is you start by building the relationship, build a friendship. And from that point on, then you can see some of their entrepreneurial skills, because some folks are not designed for business. They're great customers, and that'll be it for the rest of their lives. But others have wonderful skills. In fact, who was I listening to today? I think it was not Ed Milet. It was Tammy, the multimillionaire, the beach money. What's his name? Wrote
Oh,
the
Adam.
Jordan Andler.
Jordan
Andler.
Yes.
George, yeah, I was listening to him today, and he talked about.
Thank you, Sylvie.
Yeah, thank you. He talked about this, and it's really, really impressive. Some of the approaches that you acquire over time by really focusing on the friendship. It's amazing. And what he does, he actually goes online and he searches for people that does mentoring that have a very strong social influence. Now, remember, when he started in a very, very modest way. And of course, he is one of the richest guy in network marketing. But the fact here is that he doesn't recruit anybody. He will actually search for people who has an influencer environment, like they have an ambiance, they're mentors, they're teachers, they're coach, they're in front of people. And when he goes there, he's not going to go there and with the purpose of recruiting them. If you talk to a professional like that, they see you coming a mile away, they will shut their doors so fast, you'll never have a chance to build a relationship with them. So what he does, and generally, yes, he's connecting with them in hope that maybe we can cross bridge, and then do business together. But what can I learn from that person? And Jordan Andler is from the old school, kind of like us, where he didn't build his business on social media. Everything was, three-way calls and hotel meetings, and which is all of this stuff is the past. And even mentioned, and weekly meetings in hotels doesn't happen. Yeah, there's events that are taking place, but the hotel meetings, it's a dying breed, right? There's so many different avenues in doing this. And what's happening here is that he's going to go there to learn from them. And what can he learn from them? And he's evolving. And that's how he's grown his network through this new way of doing business. And in turn, some of them became very friends, very close to him. And then he built a relationship, which did end up being associates of his company. So that's a prime example how our multi-millionaire network marketing will do this, right? They're not just going to pick someone who doesn't have a job, who can't have a job. Of course, doesn't mean you don't prospect these folks, because at the end of the day, for me, it's not about the money. It's about the willingness and about the desire to make a change. And if I see someone with this desire in their eyes, I'm all over this, because I know money is just the byproduct of him being inspired to actually grow. But the fact is that he focuses on these kind of folks. And that's why sometimes they bring so much volume into an organization in a very short period of time. So that's the aspect of do not spam and do not go in there thinking that you're just gonna recruit them because of who they are. They know who they are. They know what they bring to the table, and they're very protective of their network and their environment. But when the relationship is built and the trust is built and the value is created through your personal growth, well, guess what? That's when you'll attract these kind of people. Anything you want to add, Tammy, to this?
Yeah, so if you're in any groups, I mean, the whole thing in groups, public groups or private groups, is to add value. That's it. And eventually they like some things, they start to recognize you, they like some things, and you can connect with them when they like it. So that's what you want to do, is create those connections. Those connections will eventually become friendships. Right now, I'm in a group. It's called Women's Professional Networking Group in Toronto, Canada. There's 2 Zoom sessions a week, a day one and an evening one, where we're all connecting, we're all entrepreneurs, we're all getting to know each other. And the host is creating these icebreaker questions, and it's fun. And we're, really getting to know each other. And then we finally met, a group of us finally met last Tuesday. Well, everybody was so excited to see each other, to be belly to belly. It was awesome. And we all said the same thing, is you get more energy when you're connected with people in person. And yeah, we felt that the connection together was much stronger. So now, because of that, we're all booking sessions with each other to get to know even deeper what each other does and what we can learn from each other. And from there, you never know where these relationships are going to go down the road. But that's being in business. That's what's being, an entrepreneur, is getting into environments, like Chris said, that people have influences within their social environment. And we can all learn from each other and support each other in different ways.
Perfect. Well said, Tammy.
Very, very important. So number
three. I want to mention that, Tammy, because the title is very, very specific. Is the fortune is in the follow-ups, not the follow-up. You understand what I mean by that? And see, people often quit after the first follow-up in fear of rejection. And that is the biggest challenge that I see as we mentor people, is they fear the rejection. And at the end of the day, we all have been there. We all get them. Okay. But what's very important here is, as you're having a conversation, again, if you play your game right, you will increase your results by listening to some of the past training we've done on how we handle follow-ups, third-party credibility, all of these things. And I know that very few people utilize third-party credibility. That's not just you I'm talking to. This is a very common thing that's been there from day one when I started this business. I kept hearing this. People don't utilize third-party credibility, and they are so powerful. So the fact is, every time you have a conversation with someone, you always want to keep the door open for the next call. So when you finish, and that's the difference between the amateur and the more seasoned networker, is as you finish the conversation, regardless how it goes, if they're not interested, open it for 3 months from now and book it in it 3 months from now. Imagine if all the people you spoke to would agree. So yeah, call me back in 3 months. They're curious to see if you're going to do anything with this. So it's rare that someone says, no, don't ever call me about this. It may happen. And if it does, brush it off, move on next. They don't qualify to work with you anyway. But the fact here is, you always want to leave the conversation open for the next call. So if they say, well, I don't believe in this, I don't believe, then you share some information for them to educate themselves. Well, there's no such thing as not believing in something when the facts are there. I mean, glutathione, it's documented everywhere. That you believe in supplements or not, do you believe that there is a glutathione molecule in your bloodstream? Because if there isn't, you won't be alive right now. And we have the precursors to increase it. Let me show you how. Okay, right? It's all your posture on how you position yourself in front of the information that will make a significant difference, or that will get the person to doubt based on your posture around it. So very, very important is keep the door open to follow up. Even if they're not interested, don't just turn around, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. Hey, thanks for, no. Just politely and respectfully say, John, Mary, Jane, I get you. I understand. I mean, the timing is not right, but you know what? Let me call you in 3 months. Let me tell you how things are going. And in 3 months, if it would have been before the pandemic and you call them in the middle of this pandemic when they lost their job, you think the environment's different? Of course. Things changes all the time in people's lives, right? This is something that changed their entire world's lives, but you know what I mean, right? So you never know. 3 months is a long time. And today with everything that's going on with the economy, 3 months is an eternity. I mean, the world is so volatile when it comes to economy that things change on the fly. So you never know what people's situation may be.
And what's really important through the follow-up process is make sure you're taking notes on the conversation so that you can go back and refer to the notes. Because if you're like us, you have so many people that if we didn't have notes in whatever contacts that we have about the last conversations, then we'd be lost. And so when we connect with somebody, it's almost like we just finished talking to each other, and the conversation continues. So it's great when you're very organized that way. You'll find your follow-ups process will be so much more productive. And you know what? People really appreciate when you remember things about them. And it's hard to remember things about everybody when you're super, super busy and you're talking to a lot of people. So those notes will help you. And then you'll naturally kick into when you read the notes. Oh, yeah, I remember she said that her daughter was getting married at the end of the year. So just wanted to, let her know that, you were thinking about her. So these are things that you want to do on a regular basis, even if it's a quick text and you have their number. Hey, by the way, I just wish you a very special day with your daughter. I'm sure you're going to take tons of pictures. I can't wait to see them. And you're building on and upon that. Okay. So, and make sure it's authentic as well. All right. So that's really, really important. Okay. So number 4, listening to people that are not successful. That's a big one. Why listening to people that never had success? A lot of people are going to listen to people who have not had success in this industry. And unfortunately, they miss the big picture. And it's important to learn from people who have paved the path and have gone through the hurdles, the ups and downs. I mean, Chris and I have been through every stage of that emotional roller coaster. And it's a new stage of a roller coaster. It just seems like when things get hit, there's another stage of learning and growing for everybody. Okay, so always make sure that you're learning from others who are going ahead of you and that are getting the results. And if you follow what they're doing and you're doing the work, you will move towards those results. So it's really important to do that.
On that note too is number 5 is letting other people commitment level dictate your energy level. This is as a business where being positive is absolutely critical. There was actually a funny video that went on. I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok. Remember that guy, Tammy, was going on and shaking his butt, dancing around and with his fishing pole and throwing his rod. And then you have these 6 other guys there, 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, all calm and, kind of very quiet. And serious I wouldn't say they were unhappy, just super serious. And this guy comes in and just having a blast and just throwing his thing. And within a second, he gets the fish and he leaves with the fish all happy with the other guys who are still there struggling to get their first fish. And there's a really strong message. Hey, Scott, look, I can see you in a picture there with the Kenyan flag. Right. So that's my ADD. Okay. So what happens here is having a positive mindset, positive attitude is absolutely critical. If you come in this call says, oh, there's not that many people, and then you're stuck with that negative, draining attitude, guys, this is why you're not doing maybe what you're looking for. What is going on between your 2 ears is so important. And most people don't spend 2 seconds realizing the importance of what you think about it expands and what you think about focus. Let me rephrase that. What you focus on tends to be what will be, what your life will look like. It's very important, and Tammy and I are constantly out there sharing in all different aspects, all different areas. This is going on Facebook Live. I mean, we have a great audience on Facebook Live. It's going to be shared. It's going to be also posted on the on a YouTube channel. And long after this video, there's going to be other leaders, other people are going to be listening to this. Right? It's not just this one call, this one session. Right? So how are you perceiving the environment that you are surrounded by? Are you going there with a positive outlook and a positive attitude, or are you getting influenced by the negative relatives or the people with just this attitude that's always draining, that just sucks you down, right? So it's important that you're constantly don't let other people affect how you feel about an opportunity. Because if Tammy looks at the magazine when we first started this company, none of them are around. None of them. And here's the reality.
Oh, the first Success magazine. Okay,
Long after they left, we grew in the Africa, the Philippines, and they're long gone before that. And this grew. I mean, it's unbelievable. It became an empire. We're still here. That's when the millionaires are created. It's very interesting, but often the people at the top, they are at the top because they never gave up. It's not just because they're the best and they got there first, blah, blah, blah. No, by a long shot, is we never gave up. Even today. Yes, the economy is a bit of a shaky right now. So what? What goes down goes up. It's cyclical. The entire world is cyclical. Do you remember 2008? All of you were alive in those days. It was the end doomsday, right? Well, 2008 disappeared. And then we had the ultimate record high. I guarantee you it'll happen again, right? So don't get all dragged down by the obvious negative environment around you. You got to break free from that. What helps you break free from that? Education, personal growth. The books that I pointed out to you at the beginning, this is where it's at. This is where the information lies. Educate yourself. Break free from the average. You're not average. If you are in network marketing, you are not average. You are above average. Take advantage of this and stop listening to the negative voice around you that keeps keeping you where you are. This is a big deal. Another thing that Jordan Andler was talking about, and I'm not going to talk about this because that's a training on its own, but he was sharing all the benefits of being part of a company in network marketing. He listed all the things I know you can think about: the product, the manufacturing, the marketing, all of the different markets, the products that have to be distributed, all these different markets, the customer service, the computer and the systems and the delivery, and I mean, the commissions. Every time a sale is being made, it goes into the system. From the system, it is spread out into pieces and it's put down through to justify your volume to give you a paycheck at the end of the week or the end of the month. It's amazing the things that we have in our industry that people have forgotten, and they just kind of take it for granted and completely transparent to the fact that someone's paying for all this stuff. That's all included within the industry of network marketing. So Tammy, as we end this call here, what are your last thoughts you want to share? I know you had a few notes down here.
Yeah, it's basically repeated on the stuff where we need to focus. Obviously, I think personal growth is the big thing for everybody, and always learning, always growing, always applying what you learn. If you're a person that needs to be motivated every morning, find somebody who's going to lift you up and that's going to pump you up so that you can get out and have a great day. But I highly recommend over time is to develop that muscle yourself, and do affirmations or whatever it is. Our vision boards inspire me. When I look at my vision board, I get super pumped up. And then that drives me to want to do the work that I need to do to get to where we need to get to at the next level. So whatever it is for you, it's important that you're doing this regularly, every single day, sometimes more than once a day, because you're going to have moments where you just got to have something in front of you that's going to drive you to do something else. Photos are always really good, because they create that emotional connection, right? So these are things that we highly recommend everybody work on in the process of building your business.
Beautiful. Okay, so that ends the session here this evening. And folks, I really highly recommend that you register for your tickets. I know some of you have tickets. Make them available. Share this with the team. At the end of the day, we want to have as much presence as possible to keep people engaged, informed, and help you with your personal growth and get all the tools and details that you need to build your business in 2023, which the event will be in December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I think. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I believe, on that particular weekend. So everybody have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. And those of you in the Philippines, we're going to see you very, very soon, guys. Thank you for joining in on the Facebook Live. And everybody have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye for now.
And stay on for those who are part of the campaigns, the 14 names that I connected with you. Please stay on. We're just going to have a quick conversation.
Cool. Okay. I'm just going to end this recording, Tammy.
Mhm.